Hey everybody, it's David Cinelli.
Ariana
and Julia Blinsky.
We got a special guest for our Fast Talk Friday. We were just kind of running through some topics here, and we had one in which we were all throwing some ideas out. So we're like, hey, Julia's here, let's feature her as well. So Fast Talk Fridays, things that happen in the industry, which usually it's Ariana and I, we talk about what's happening, and we kind of give you some education. So today our topic is...
Why do people sell in the spring or prefer to sell their homes in the spring?
Right. So traditionally, what happens is right around April, like end of March, April, people list their homes, and in the winter times, it usually gets a little bit slower. And why is that? So, what's one reason why people want to list in the spring?
So a big one is curbside appeal, how the house looks with landscaping and what else?
Flowers, things like that.
Yeah.
It's not covered by snow. Ariana?
The actual process of moving is better or more convenient. Nobody wants to be carrying boxes in and out in 2 feet of snow. So.
Well, trust us, Natalie and I just moved, I think it was January, February, and not only that, it sucks with the snow and everything in it, but you're dragging in the snow and it's getting wet in your property and your furniture can get ruined. I'm not saying not to do it, but it could be a little bit more of a pain in the ass. Yeah, and it's freaking cold. Your fingers outside if you're carrying your own stuff. So yeah, it sucks.
Also with like pool inspection.
That's a great one. Yeah. So if you have a property which you're purchasing on that has a pool, you can put in a clause in there about having a pool inspection. But it's better to physically bring in a pool inspector when it's actually up and running if you get everything's wrong. I've had a situation in the past where we put in the offer that the pool was supposed to be up and running, and the seller guaranteed that it was going to be working. Guess what happened? We opened the pool. It wasn't working. So we had to almost go back and see. We negotiate on the back, which there was a dollar value would work. But we couldn't wait because that was the property they wanted. They purchased in the wintertime. So yes, that's a good one. Ariana, have another one?
Yeah, well, just working with you, we've seen quite a few pre-inspections when we've been looking for buyers where a lot of the info is limited because it's blocked by the snow. So let's say there's a porch in the front and there's a crawl space underneath. Sometimes it's completely blocked off, so there's a lot of little things that we might not have enough detail on.
Yeah, and along those lines too, with inspections and stuff, you can't tell if the foundation is going to be leaking if the ground is frozen. Unless, like if you have a heavy rainfall or a lot of thawing out, and you can see if the basement is actually leaking or not, as opposed to in the wintertime where everything is frozen down there. It creates like a little block, so you would never see if there is any moisture in the basement. So yeah, that also is a big one. There's many more. And any other ones we're missing right now? I don't know. I can't think of it at the top of my head. Any other ones? There's just a lot of them too, I think.
I think even maybe a psychological factor. People might have a bit more motivation in the spring, better weather.
More vitamin D.
And happier. I'm not touching that. But there's also one factor I totally forgot. As a parent, I should know this. So if you're purchasing in the summertime, in the springtime, chances are you're going to move in the summertime or right before school starts. So that is a big factor as well. People want to make sure that, parents want to make sure when they're purchasing a home, their kids want to start at the beginning of September in one school. They don't want to move again, it's not the end of the world if your kids are moving. Like for us, our kids, even though we've moved, still stayed in the same school, and then next year they're going to change. It's not the end of the world, but that's also another reason why they're choosing in the spring. There's a ton of other reasons why people choose it. Choose to. There you go. See? My language is, my English, even though it's my first language, should be my second. So sometimes, anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons. So if you guys have any other reasons you want to share with us, please feel free to put it in the comments. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks as always, Ariana. If you have any questions or topics you want us to talk about, please feel free to DM any of us. Until then, have a great day.